What's going on, Mongoloids, and welcome to episode 8 of By the Bulb podcast. I am your host, Brian Studley, and to my right is the Mars Attacks fan shirt having Tony Gomez.
That's me.
Good choice. It is, you can't hear how loud it is, but
it's pretty loud.
It's loud and impressive.
It's a big one.
Mm-hmm.
It's Rasta colors too, actually.
Yeah.
You got the yellows, the reds, and the greens. Can't hurt me while I'm wearing these Jamaican clothes.
And sitting next to him and across from me is the great Jeremy Backlar.
That's me. I'm that guy. I'm not the great. I'm a great. There's another great, but we have a great tournament every fall, and I've narrowed it down to one great. So fingers crossed, 2 men enter, 1 man leaves. You know.
But is there another great Jeremy Backlar?
No.
I think not.
There is another Jeremy Backlar.
What bastard.
Yeah, he's the best. And I don't know. I'm related to him. He's my cousin, technically.
Oh, well.
All right.
Who was born first, though?
He was.
Oh, then you're the copy.
My parents forgot that there was another Jeremy Backlar, and they named me Jeremy Backlar.
Jeremy sounds good.
But there's only one me.
Yeah, don't believe all the rumors out there. Backlar clones are at it again.
I've never been to Tempe, Arizona, so if you've seen me there, it's not me.
Nice. Here we are. A couple weeks later, we've accomplished some things, I guess, since we last talked. We got a little Facebook thing going.
We got a little page. All you guys look at that.
Yeah. Well, thanks for liking it. First of all, that was nice of you. Click your little button there.
Your little button.
Now, why don't you click some more buttons? Some more likes, some other stuff like that.
Some of those buttons let your friends know what we're doing.
Yeah.
And if you tell the friends knowing button, tell them that.
Yeah. There's
Exactly.
It's a whole different level of like Facebook stalking that I didn't really know existed. All these stats they give you and stuff.
Oh yeah, that is weird. Like I clicked on it and I was
promoting.
under the By the Bulb, banner or whatever it is where you're operating through Facebook like you're By the Bulb.
Right.
I'm just like, it's giving me all this shit. I didn't even know this was possible.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
There's so much. Like when you go on a website, there's a bunch of people who are getting a bunch of information about whatever. Like, did you click on a picture of a cookie? Maybe. And then now everybody knows that.
Right.
I like that all we put was Bryan Cranston in Power Rangers. And that was the most successful post on it.
Was that?
Yeah, it was just like 2 pictures of the characters that Bryan Cranston was in the Power Rangers, and it was like, this post reached 168 people.
Yeah.
I was like, holy shit, what the hell? Let's just put Bryan Cranston and Power Rangers in every post.
Yeah, dude.
just see what
Did you
happens.
remember that? Oh man.
Yeah.
Yeah. We just started school this week, so we're all a little.
Technically, I actually have not been in a class yet.
You haven't?
No, I haven't. I only have class on Wednesdays and Thursdays.
God.
What a slacker.
Yeah, I know.
Bastard.
I did everything. I only got like 15 credits to graduate, dude. I'm just fucking coasting.
I gotta bring my happy ass down there, up there, like 3 times a week.
Really?
Yeah.
Shit, dude. Well, I mean, if I decide to do whatever with like equipment room stuff, I'll be going there Tuesday as well. But otherwise, I only have class 2 days a week. Pretty good time for me, considering like the last 2 years, it's been 8 a.m. classes for 2, if not 4 days a week.
It really put us through the ringer.
Yeah.
Those first couple semesters there. Not that, I mean, we sound like
And then I
idiots.
was
like, 8 in the morning.
I live like across the street from the fucking school, so
You live
I'm
across the street
complaining.
and you're always late.
Yeah. I think it's worse for people.
No,
like,
it is work because you're like, I'm right there.
Yeah,
I don't have to leave until,
I need 10 minutes
Yeah.
max, so I could do it in 7 minutes if I hurry.
If I,
5 minutes, I'll be a little late.
especially 'cause, like when I used to have to take the bus, I would always get there way fucking earlier than I needed to be, like an hour or 2 earlier than I needed to be, just because that's the time the bus runs. And if you just live there, it's different.
Yeah, but I think it is different because I live across the street from it. But really, in every aspect of my life where I have to be somewhere, I'm waiting until the absolute last fucking minute to where I am.
Yeah.
Like, I need to plan that I should be leaving 15 minutes prior to when I actually have to leave, because otherwise I'm not going to get there. I'm getting there at the last minute on time or a little bit late, pretty much everywhere, and that's not a great thing to do.
That's
No, it's
thumbs down to that.
Yeah,
actually.
especially if you're trying to like be in the friggin' film business. If you're not 15 minutes early, you're not on time.
Yeah, if you're not picking your ass for a half hour at
exactly.
least.
Yeah.
Then you did not do the job right, and you need to go home. You're not eating today.
You're not eating.
Nobody wants to feed you. That's
Yeah, nobody
pretty much
wants
the
to
name of
feed
the
you.
game.
When did he get here? 5 minutes before? Fuck that guy.
Yeah.
That guy, dude.
Well, speaking of growing up and stopping being babies and showing up late and all that
baby
stuff, one thing I haven't been able to stop doing is playing with toys. And a commercial for a game, it's coming out. It's called Toy Soldiers War Chest. Looked pretty interesting. They got this stop motion animation thing going on with G.I. Joe and He-Man. I mean,
That was just great,
Yeah,
man.
that was
Whoever
really
like came up
awesome.
with
That
that,
was
and then
really
they
awesome.
executed it, that was fucking great.
I have
It was
to tell
better
you,
looking than the game itself.
it's
like, a lot.
yes, yeah, there's no doubt about it. Looked better in the game itself.
Yeah.
They need to make a fighting game like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Just stop motion looking.
But it's Stupid Buddy Studios who basically they did Robot Chicken and stuff, so they've been
Oh,
doing
really?
it for a while. But yeah, I'm by no means telling anybody to go out and buy this game, but watch the thing on YouTube.
Yeah. It's really fun. And
it was good. And just
especially if
the
you're
transitions, like from the actual animation and the guy just playing with it was.
yeah.
Yeah.
That was really good. And everybody who's like played with their action figure, with their toys before,
Yeah.
and like that, you know exactly what
That was it.
That was
That
it.
was
That's exactly
and
what
that's-
it's like.
Exactly what I would do. Like
Yeah.
when I had two toys, instead of having some sort of scenario going on and like a storyline, it's just two guys fucking each other up.
Yeah.
And then this guy, and then he got
Oh,
tossed into the
oh.
next dimension, and it's over here by the dresser.
Yes, I would repeat the same thing over and over again. Like I would think of it. I don't know. I would like get like one of like I had like a Sub-Zero, sort of like his bat cave thing, but it was like his lair.
From
and
Mortal
like
Kombat?
No, or not Sub-Zero. Mr. Freeze.
Yeah.
It was Mr. Freeze thing, and I would like put all of my figures in cryogenic stasis in like the Mr. Freeze thing.
I think the only time I did try to have like a story was I had this mailbox toy. I don't know who the fuck decided that. Okay, well Tony likes toys. Let's buy him this mailbox.
Fucking hilarious.
But the thing about the mailbox was it was like really big and it was pretty hefty,
Yeah.
so you could stick a bunch of toys in there. So I just pretended that the mailbox was a spaceship,
There you
and then
go.
all the guys would be
Really
hanging
cool.
around. And there was like a cockpit for a couple of dudes, or something to be like a fighting part, and they just sail around, in the galaxy that was my room, and go into the.
And that's what it's all about. I like that. Yeah. You really, the power of the imagination.
My dad and his brother used to spray paint just like rocks that they found gold and hide them and like pretend that their G.I. Joes were finding treasure.
That's so cool. Yeah, well, something, especially, the kid and their imagination and stuff like that. Like, I don't know if you guys have memories of going to, like, a Disneyland or, Six Flags when you were younger and how that shit was, like, blowing your mind.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
It was just like you were immersed in whatever. Like you were in whatever like ride you were on, you were in that movie.
Yeah. Well, that's, and that's sort of the first thing that I thought of because it sounds like both Disney World and Disneyland are getting expansions put on. Maybe at the sacrifice of something. I think they might be getting rid of Toontown.
Yeah, Toontown is no more.
Poor Toontown.
But for a Star Wars land, 14 acres of Star Wars.
Sorry, Toontown, fuck off.
Yeah.
We're getting Star Wars
Yeah.
now.
We haven't made we made one Roger Rabbit movie.
Yeah.
Well, what do you think about that? I mean, are you gonna check it out?
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm gonna
hell
check it
yeah,
out.
hell yeah.
I mean, it does make me kind of sad that Toontown's gonna, because like I am around here and I haven't been to Disneyland there are some people I know that like go every fucking day, but
Yeah. Some people just go, how do you even go there?
Yeah, they got the passes right.
yeah, they get the passes. But
And it's like
dress up
$100
and
just for a
stuff.
day now.
and then my friends get the cheap passes where like all weekends are blacked out and most of the summer is blacked
So you can
out.
just go on certain
you just-
weekdays?
yeah.
Every
but-
third Wednesday of the month.
Yeah. But I have some pretty fond memories of Toontown when I was a kid. I mean, it's like I went there recently, and it's definitely a kid's place.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, I mean, I guess everywhere in Disneyland is a kid's place if you think about it. They don't need a designated kids area. Not like at Six Flags.
Fucking
like,
Disneyland.
Yeah. This is who it's for.
Yeah.
I still haven't even seen the new Star Tours. Like I haven't.
I haven't been on the new Star Tours yet.
I always hear that and it's been years since that's come out, and people always talk about it. And
Remind me again what Star Tours is.
Star Tour. It's one of the motion rides where you're in a room that the room moves around and you're watching a movie.
Okay.
So you feel like you're in a flying through space in a spaceship.
Did you ever go to the Back to the Future ride at Universal?
No, but I went on this. They had a Star Wars ride at Disney when I went. The one time I did, and you were basically like in a room with seats and it jiggled around. Is that what?
That's Star Tours.
It was amazing.
But they redid it, and now it has like I don't know eight or something.
Yeah, there's 8
multiple
different
endings.
tracks, and there's like a hero in every thing. Someone gets to choke out Darth Vader, or someone gets
totally
to,
right. They highlight like your seat.
Yeah, see, now that's new. So if you were on that, then you went on the new and improved Star Tours.
Buddy,
nothing
but the best.
The original was like they would come in and like the whole spiel for like the safety talk for a ride was like an in-flight thing.
Right.
And they would have like a Wookiee. It would like be a video of a Wookiee strapping in his seatbelt like.
Well, from what I was hearing from people, walking out of the ride and stuff, is that it's different. Like it changes, depending. Like they switch it up a little bit, so every time you go on, it's a little bit different. You go to different planets and stuff.
The original ride was just one set. I think you were literally going on a tour through space, and you get in the middle of a fight between like some rebel pilots and some Imperial pilots.
Yeah.
And that was the original thing, and then you just like get and it was really there was one part where you go through like ice asteroids, and it's really neat. But, I doubt they have that at all anymore, and if they even like redid that track, maybe I don't know.
Yeah. Well, if anything else, you got to look forward to. They're going to have apparently a Millennium Falcon that you can take for a spin. Which
that ship did the Kessel Run 12 passes.
Right. You can actually do that. Maybe that's your goal.
Maybe that's your goal.
But as a kid, man, this would just. I mean, even the idea of it is kind of blowing my mind. Like, in some instances, I think it's good that Disney gets their hands on stuff like this. Like, go ahead and fucking exploit me. And,
Just do it. Take advantage.
I mean, somebody
exactly what I need.
George Lucas made. I don't know. Like he just had to let go of his idea. He was destroying it. I don't know. Maybe that's mean to say, but.
No, you're right.
Exactly
you're right. I think most people would agree with that he just was fucking it up.
And also, like, was he that... Because in the original trilogy, there was a lot more people in that movie than him, and there was a lot of, like, shit that he had to go through, and it wasn't him making all the calls.
Yeah, right.
But,
it's
like,
because he didn't have that
with the prequels are, like, the best example of what happens when people don't say no to someone.
Yeah, exactly. Because he didn't direct the first one or the second one, I think. I think he only directed Jedi, right?
Right.
Did he direct Jedi?
No, he directed the first... He directed A New Hope.
He did?
Yeah. He directed A New Hope, and Irving Kershner directed Empire Strikes Back, and I can't remember who did Return of the Jedi, but it wasn't
no, you're right.
George Lucas.
Directed.
He definitely did do one of them, though.
Yeah, he did A New Hope.
Okay.
But other than, even in the prequels, he like, did he even direct the prequels?
I thought he did.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. That's why they were
they were all
the way they were.
Because he just had all the power.
He did have a lot of the power, and he's one of those big pushers for everything digital and everything like that.
Yeah, and like that's what
made your movie so fucking good was all the practical effects. Why do you think? I don't know.
Because he's a dummy.
He's also the reason why
Jedi was directed by Richard Marquand.
Ah, yes.
And written by George Lucas and Lawrence Kasdan.
Lawrence.
Well, okay, as long as we're on the subject of Star Wars, what'd you think about this new Rogue One photo they got?
I think it looks pretty cool. It looks way more... like, I'm looking at the photo and everybody's costume design. Like, I can already tell that each one of those people has, like, a specific story going with them.
Yeah, it looks kind of Firefly-y, right?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
Well, I mean, it looks a little, like, space cowboy-ish.
I can see that.
But, I mean, that's because they're rebels.
Yeah.
They...
Are we set on this title, though? You don't think they could have come up with something a little, like... Rogue One, a Star Wars story.
Yeah.
You know? It sounds like a Christmas special for a cartoon.
I don't know why they said a Star. Well, they didn't want to. Yeah, why couldn't they have just called it Rogue One?
Just call it Rogue One. People know what it is.
I thought that's what it was to begin with.
I think
Star Wars has like the most recognition. I don't know. I feel like word would still get around if it was just called Rogue One.
Yeah.
Or you could just call it Star Wars Rogue One. Like, why a Star Wars story? That sounds...
That does sound weird.
Well, that's what I thought it was to begin with. All this stuff with, like, the title afterwards is new to me.
Yeah.
Like, I saw it earlier.
Title.
That's but,
Gareth
that's
Edwards
cute.
and John Knoll.
Hope it's cool, though. I mean, obviously, they're going to be doing these spin-offs, right? Like, we have a Boba Fett coming, and
Yeah,
that'll be cool.
I haven't actually heard any confirmation, but are they doing the Han and Lando prequel? Is that still happening?
I don't know, but that sounds...
That sounds
like a
I want to see
delicious...
Han. I see that. I want to see Han win the Falcon.
Yeah. See him do the Kessel Run?
Find out that the Kessel Run's all a lie.
Yeah, and then he just rode the Maw, that bastard.
Oh, we like Star Wars.
Well, you know what? And the whole Disneyland Star Wars thing splinters off in two different directions because you've also got. You guys seen this like Banksy theme park in the UK?
Disneyland.
Not.
I've seen pictures of it, and I just see a lot of memes based on it.
Yeah.
It's because he Banksy did this thing. It was Dismaland. It was a comment on Disneyland and all this bullshit. But people are just doing a lot of like meme comparisons. Have you ever watched BoJack Horseman?
Yeah.
Okay, so have you seen the second season?
No.
Okay. In the second season, somebody makes a theme park, and it's basically just a terrible fucking theme park. Okay. And then they're just like, and then someone used a screen cap of that theme park, and they're like, Dismaland, Banksy 2000. And someone took like, do you remember that episode of SpongeBob where Mr. Krabs comes up with like a play place for the children, but it's like really shitty? It's like Hose World, or it's just a bunch of hoses hanging over a pole. And it's like Dismaland 2015. I mean, I've seen more of that stuff than I've like actually read into Dismaland, but what is it exactly?
Well, it's
a decrepit. I'm looking at pictures of it. It just looks like Disneyland, but all run down. And if Disneyland was just art installations, basically.
Pretty much. It's from what I've seen, they do have a couple rides there. But yeah, you're right. Like there's the whole Ariel one that's like in a pond. She's looking all skewed, like she's, I don't know if she's underwater. What they're trying to pull off there, it's creepy. There's one of like Cinderella's carriage crashing and all the paparazzi taking pictures of it.
Those tanker trucks that are like
Princess
bent
Di
over
or something.
on each other.
Yeah, there's some pretty interesting stuff. I guess it's only going to be open for a couple weeks, but yeah. If I was in the UK, I'd definitely go
check it out.
Yeah. I don't know how crazy it's going to get over there. Bunch of, artsy types.
Arts
throwing
and
elbows
farts and crafts.
Oh, Banksy, you're so brilliant.
Farting is a craft, and not to be denied.
Is a craft.
You
hone it over the years.
That's what they say. You hone it, and then you own it.
You have to inhabit it or leave it in the cabinet.
That's what Father Studley said to me when I was a lad. Interesting news also with as far as stuff that just baffles me, I guess. Apparently NBC bought BuzzFeed.
Yeah,
for $200 million.
$200 million.
Seems like a bit much. Seems like BuzzFeed is definitely running out of ideas in combination with the two.
That's really dumb. I don't know. It seems, especially with websites like that, BuzzFeed. Those are those things where you gotta write its course and you cash out when it's done. Because when it's done, it's done. Somebody else is gonna come up with the BuzzFeed equivalent or something that's better than yours.
Yeah.
Or it'll just be like BuzzFeed will just be a joke at some point, and like somebody will like come. It like there's so many things that can happen with like a website like that.
Right, it'll be like the MySpace sort of joke.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like remember BuzzFeed? Bunch of idiots we were.
I mean, we were still there was like Hotmail. Everybody used Hotmail.
Yeah. I still have Hotmail addresses. Those are just my spam accounts. Like when I need to sign up for something and I gotta look at it, I'm like, oh fuck it, type in my Hotmail.
Right. Just thought it was interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, how much I feel like BuzzFeed's most of their money is ad revenue, right? It has to be.
It is essentially just clickbait, and that's what they're going for, it seems. But I just think it's past its peak, and $200 million for that, I don't know.
Good for them, man. I mean,
Good for right.
That's
they cashed out.
They made some videos. They made some fucking check out this list of crap, and they got $200 million for it. So pretty good.
Well, okay. Well, speaking of sort of blowing money, like they've done on all the Spider-Man movies pretty much so far. I guess it's sort of old news, but this list has been leaking online for a bit of the cast for the new Spider-Man.
I had not heard about this.
Yeah,
I didn't know. I knew that they had the main guy. I knew that Tomei was possibly on board, but I did. She's like a young Aunt May though. She's not just Aunt May.
Give her a little salt and pepper, I guess. You know.
But I mean, I'm trying to pull up this list myself.
I gotta say, as far as Aunt Mays go, though, we've got whoever the lady was in the original Spider-Man, and then for me, Tobey Maguire's Aunt May was the Aunt May.
Yeah,
she's the Sally Field never came close. Sorry, Sally.
No,
you old flying nun. But I don't know. Marissa Tomei seems like kind of weird casting, and I know they're doing like she's the young one, and then she's the older one. And I don't know how that's gonna work, but.
Well, okay, before we actually even go any further, let's just go down some interesting names here. You got Peter Parker is this young guy, right?
That's what I wanted to talk about. Fucking why is Peter Parker getting skinnier and whiter?
Well, he's in high school again here.
Well, I just don't...
Skinnier and whiter? Okay.
You know, like, he just, like...
I see where you're...
Like, there was Tobey Maguire, and then there was Andrew Garfield, which was, slightly skinnier and slightly whiter than Tobey Maguire, and then there's this dude who looks like he just got off the school bus. And like, I understand high school Spider, but like it's why do you keep doing that?
He doesn't look like one thing I liked about Andy Garfield's that Maguire didn't really have with his Spider-Man was, Garfield's Spider-Man, he was cracking jokes.
Yeah,
and that's always always a great thing with Spider-Man. Yeah,
that is what Spider-Man
he uses his smart ass, Spidey comments.
He's timid when he's Peter Parker, but he puts on the suit and he's like, "Hey,
hello, man, jokes the guy." Woo.
Yeah.
But this kid does not look funny to me. I don't see him like cracking jokes and being interesting to watch.
I haven't seen him in anything. I don't know who the hell he is.
Yeah, Tom Holland. Anyway,
what's his name?
From me to you,
Tom Holland.
To go further down the list, you got Adrian Toomes / The Vulture, Billy Zane.
Yes.
Yeah.
I like it. I like his
Phantom.
Yeah.
Titanic.
Demon Knight.
Yeah. Tombstone. He was in Tombstone.
That's right.
He was beautiful.
Listen to your friend Billy Zane. He's just trying to bring something beautiful into your ugly world with your mustaches.
Underneath Billy Zane, unfortunately, I shake my head at Jason Biggs as Scorpion.
I think that, that'll be fun.
I want to see
It'll
that.
be something.
That sounds like a BuzzFeed video.
Yeah, right? Like Jimmy Kimmel would be doing that shit on his show.
Like that,
Yeah, well, Jason Biggs, like, I don't even know, how is this guy still, alright.
He was on Orange is the New Black, and that was like the last really.
But he wasn't in the last season.
Yeah,
and then they kicked him off the show because everybody fucking hated him.
He was in Loser.
Never
you guys
saw
remember that one? They go to an Everclear concert in that movie.
Is he wearing a silly hat?
Yes, and he moves to New York, and he's a weirdo and doesn't have friends.
Underneath that, you've got, I guess the last one I'll mention is Hugh Laurie as J. Jonah Jameson.
Yeah.
See, now that could either be really awesome or because I just thought that who the last J. Jonah, what was his name?
Oh,
J.K. Simmons.
J.K. Simmons.
I thought he went because like the comic book and like the '90s cartoon.
Yeah.
It was J.K. Simmons.
Yeah,
like that was
it. He was perfect.
That is my J. Jonah all the day, every day. So like, but Hugh Laurie is also, I know he's funny and I know he can pull off a person like that because most American people only know him from House.
Yeah, I mean, if he's doing House as J. Jonah,
he's been a British comedian way before he's been an angry American doctor. So I think he could do a great J. Jonah.
And he's also one of those people that does like grizzled American so well.
Yeah, he does.
That when you go back and you see his proper British accent, you're like, oh, what the fuck?
Or if you watch Stuart Little.
Or Stuart Little. Like, is he doing like that? That's cheesy. That's not your voice. That doesn't sound real.
Yeah, right.
Or with the guy who plays Rick Grimes on The Walking Dead. Like when you hear his actual British accent. you're just like, what are you doing? I just want to hear you, Grizzly, say Carl. Just Carl. That's all I need from you.
Have you guys ever watched a bit of Hugh and Laurie?
No, I've heard of it.
Or a bit of
Laurie and
a bit of.
what was the other guy's name?
Shit, I can't remember. But that's funny.
Yeah.
A bit of Fry and Laurie. Stephen Fry.
Right there it is.
Yeah, Stephen Fry. That's his
He's
name.
fun. He's got some comedic chops, so I'm interested
Yeah.
to see what he brings to it. I don't know if they're gonna put a mustache on him.
I mean, they got to. He's Jay Jonah.
Yeah, Jay Jonah has a
Let's
mustache.
see what sort of diva Hugh Laurie is at this point. I will not wear the mustache. Yeah, but I'm looking forward to Spider-Man just because I'm a glutton for punishment and I'm a huge Spider-Man fan. It's gonna be he's gonna be in Civil War.
And
Yeah.
they're saying, I remember I read an article about this the other day that they were basically what they released is that he's only going to be in a very small portion of Civil War.
Right.
But there's some behind the scenes stuff that you can look at online if you try, snoop around for it, and it looks like he's getting at least like 10 minutes of footage.
Isn't
So-
he
Like in action?
It's like in action, and there's like really huge like set pieces that are set just for Spider-Man and just for like parts in Civil War where he's on set, and it's just.
So,
I think that they're telling us something, but he's actually going to be in the movie a little more.
Well, because I know that
yes,
I'm not a
if you
huge
look
comic
at
book guy, but I know one of the huge the biggest deals in Civil War is Peter Parker taking his mask
he's
off.
like a he's central character
Yeah.
because in Civil War, as far as the comics go, Spider-Man he starts working with Tony Stark, and he basically becomes his protege at a certain point, and that's when Tony Stark gives him the Iron Spider costume, which is pretty badass. And then Tony Stark convinces him to unmask and then become on his side. And I think Spidey at some point goes back to Cap's side, and then he's just all over the place. He's like one of the main parts of that story, so you gotta have him in there as much as possible.
Well, they got him just in time, it seems.
Yeah.
I'm glad that worked out. Moving along, we got our segment.
John Cena.
God damn.
Yeah.
We watched a couple trailers.
We watched
And I guess the first one that we should talk about, I'll just tell everybody right off the bat, I'm not the biggest anime guy. I have respect for it. It's a little long-winded at some points. Can be a bit much. Attack on Titan. What do you guys what'd you think of that trailer there? What'd you think of that?
I think it did look neat, and it looked like something that would be cool to see, but it also looked like every live action adaptation of an anime movie.
Yeah. You gotta wonder if, like, as a person in Japan, when they see these live action animes, if it's just like here where we just see fucking remakes and we're like, oh god, they're doing that
Right.
shitty. Like, when does that work? Because it's hard to do that at all. But in this, it's like such a huge fucking thing to try and bring into like a live action setting.
Yeah.
It's really hard to make it look good. And the first part of the trailer, I really dug. It looked cool. The Titans looked awesome. And then once you start getting around to the zipping around on the omnidirectional, suit things that they have to wear in the anime, it just, it's people being strung on cords, and it's really hard to make that look cool.
Is in the proper show, are these guys just flying around?
Yeah, no, they're flying. They got the exact same thing. Like, that's 100% what happened in the anime.
Okay.
You got these dudes. They shoot little rocket nails into the wall, and they zip around the city, and they got to get behind and cut the Titan in the neck. But in the anime, obviously it looks badass because it's animation. You can do whatever the fuck you want. But with this trailer,
And
I just picture Peter Pan. It just looks like Peter Pan. Whee! Yeah. cut him in the neck. It lost its steam for me once we got around to the part that I wanted to see the most, which is these fuckers killing the Titans with those swords and omnidirectional whatever thing.
It looked like they were doing that, though, right?
Really, I don't know.
I liked the design on some of the Titans. They looked like they did in the anime.
Yeah,
it wasn't like
that's true.
And it also wasn't like when you watch a live action thing and then you see, oh, that's just cartoony because it looks too much like it did in the anime or something. But that looked like a good combination.
I think they are doing a good job at realizing those types of things.
Yeah.
Because like we were talking about, if anyone that does watch anime, there's this anime called Death Note.
Death Note.
Death Note. Later. and basically you get this diary, and that's what the Shinigamis have, and you write someone's name down in it, and they die.
Mm-hmm.
And they did a live-action movie based on it, because a lot of it was really, like, political and suspense, and then you had all this really good stuff that could carry over well into a live-action movie.
It all took place in, like, pretty much modern day. The only, like, supernatural aspect was, like,
the Shinigamis
everything
themselves.
else was pretty much normal.
Yeah, and then the Shinigamis are these giant, crazy-looking monsters, and you're like, there's no way they're going to make that look good.
Yeah.
But if you look at it, and if you know what Death Note is, or if you just want to look at this movie and then cross-reference it with what the anime looked like, it looks perfect. Like, they completely designed it to look how it was supposed to be in the anime, and then turned it into a 3D creature thing, but it looked great.
Nice.
So they are able to do that. I think they probably spend a lot of time trying to figure out how to do this stuff, right? Because they turn animes into live action all the time over there, and they got to figure it out. Like, okay, there's this crazy shit in this cartoon. How do we make that look good in real life?
Right.
I don't know. Maybe this is just my my Western aesthetics, but like, how come every anime movie has like people they look their hair? Why is the hair got to be the anime hair?
That's how they
even
look
though it's
there,
live
man.
action.
That's what their hair is like.
I mean, I know that like that's a cool way, but like I don't know. I just feel like, especially Attack on Titan, they're like fucking soldiers, and it takes away from like the soldier aspect of it when you have that hair in that uniform, and it's not. I don't know. Maybe it's just because I'm used to seeing, like, Saving Private Ryan.
It'd be kind of hard to really comment on this because I'd have to look into it, but what I would say right off the bat is that a lot of these movies concentrate less on what we need to do to make this believable, and it's what we need to do to make this a reality. So the Japanese, like, they just concentrate on completely different things from what we are. What we concentrate on over here is it realistic? Will people buy it? Over there, they're like, we know it's not going to be realistic. We just want to see it look good.
Yeah. So we make a way for it to be realistic.
Yeah, exactly, and it's true to the original property as we can. So that's why they all look like that. I think.
It's an interesting take there.
Yeah. But if I'm totally wrong, go ahead and email me.
Hey, blast us out on that.
Yeah, it looked pretty cool, I thought, not knowing much about the universe other than what you guys have told me about it.
And maybe it's also because you haven't seen the anime at all, right?
No, just aware of it.
So I've seen it, and just like looking at how cool I know it looks in the cartoon, and how badass it turns out to be. It looked like, I told you, it looks like Peter Pan to me when they're sailing around with their little boats.
Right. See, the thing that gets me with these trailers, as I'm laughing at, it takes me out of it when there's all like the screaming, like it just reminded me of like Suicide Club where they're all like, and I just start laughing, and then I think to myself, like, well, they're watching American trailers and they're screaming and all sorts of crap, and they're just like, these fucking settle down, American. Why are you screaming so much?
This American aesthetic is not pleasing.
Well, speaking of an aesthetic that I don't find pleasing, is we watched a trailer for Victor Frankenstein.
Igor.
And we all pretty much agreed after watching it what it looks like.
It looks exactly like if Guy Ritchie had made it under his Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah. And those Sherlock Holmes movies were so bad. I enjoyed them at all.
I enjoyed the first one.
Really?
It was an entertaining. Well, I mean, it was a tainted entertainment.
Was it entering your taint in a pleasing way?
Entered my taint in an entertaining way, and I tain't gonna lie about it.
Oh, that's the best bit, isn't it?
It just, you're right, it looked like they turned Dr. Frankenstein into like this he's got like swagger, and he's like
and they're like sort of fast talking, and I saw they play with like, he's like, it's alive, and he's like, yeah, I can see that, like sort of play.
That's cute.
You gotta do it.
Right.
But I don't know, I mean, I actually do like James McAvoy.
Yeah, I like both those guys.
Yeah, I like McAvoy and Harry Potter.
And I like
Daniel Radcliffe.
But I'll watch it because I love horror movies, and the first horror movies that I watched as a kid were all those Universal horror classics.
It's funny though because it's not Universal. They're 20th Century.
Yeah,
Fox.
it's 20th Century Fox.
It's weird.
But I mean, it looks like it's pretty far removed from that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just wish somebody would make a good adaptation of the book into a movie, because there's that. Have either of you seen Mary Shelley's Frankenstein?
No, I've heard of interesting things.
It's not. I mean, it's a pretty interesting movie.
Gory
but
and stuff.
It's not. Like the book is better. If you're gonna watch a Frankenstein movie, just watch Frankenstein. If you're gonna read the book, read the book. Don't watch Mary Shelley's Frankenstein.
Watch Young Frankenstein.
But what's it?
Watch Young Frankenstein.
Who is Mary Shelley to think that?
Mary Shelley, the wife of Byron Shelley. So
Obviously,
Byron.
Old money here.
When, I remember hearing about the casting for this like a long time ago. I don't know if it was a year or 2 years ago, but I remember just reading that Daniel Radcliffe was going to be Igor, and I was like, oh, that'd be great if they just like put the hump on him, and they just that'd be so of course no, it's just Daniel Radcliffe with long hair. And,
he's got a pretty face. They can't cover that up.
They can't cover up his pretty little
Which,
face.
like, to be fair, Igor is like a normal name in other parts of the world, and like here we have that association of like a totally deformed person.
Yeah,
so maybe that's their way of like, sorry, all the Igors of the world.
Yeah.
Here's a good-looking one.
Well, Victor, it's coming out like Thanksgiving or something like that. We'll see what that does. I'm not going to see it, but whatever.
I don't know. We'll see. I might wait to Netflix it.
Yeah.
But I'll probably wind up watching it at some point.
That I Frankenstein's on Netflix too, I think. Right?
that one I don't think I
Netflix
could
has
sit
just been
through.
giving me like a half star. It's like, no, dude, just don't
even touch it.
You want nothing to do
You don't even
with
want
this.
to scroll over it.
Which in a defiant sort of way, I'm like, maybe I do.
Maybe
I know what you like, Brian, and you won't like this.
I started rating other bad movies higher than they should be.
Right.
Hoping that sort of brings it up a little bit. I gave
It's
up.
just like if you don't get at least a couple stars on it, that you're just like, oh, well, I can't do it.
Right. Like I gave Switchblade Sisters 3 stars, the same rating that I gave Rain Man.
Yeah. Watch it.
Now that I think of it, maybe Rain Man deserves a bump.
Definitely a bump.
Yeah, definitely. I gave him the Kmart score there.
Woolly.
Going through with trailers, you were talking about, Tony was talking about a series of American Horror Story trailers.
Yeah.
Coming out here.
Yeah.
And what are the thoughts, fellas?
Well, it seems like they just there were out of all the teasers we saw, only 2 of them showed you what the hotel was like really at all. I guess 3. There was Lady Gaga's hand showed you the front desk technically,
Yeah,
but like
true. It was just
for the most part, it
nothing.
seems like they want. It seems like they're trying to expand their fan base, and that's what this Lady Gaga thing is. And
It's
just by just having her at the front of fucking
it's
everything.
just like the first 2 trailers. There's the one with the bell where it's just like a Lady Gaga hand and it just rings a bell, and the second one's just like Lady Gaga, like look at all this Lady Gaga.
Yeah. And how it says Gaga in
Yeah.
the like American Horror Story fart.
Fart.
Before it even
I
says
like to say
American,
fart.
it says Gaga, American Horror Story, and it's
Yeah.
like they just really want to hammer it into you that Lady Gaga's on the show.
Yeah, it looks like a reject from one of her music videos. It doesn't look, I mean, it looks cool.
Yeah, no,
but it's just a bunch of weird Lady Gaga-esque shit.
Marilyn Manson
Yeah.
did it before she did.
Yeah,
That's what it looks like.
exactly.
And somebody before him did that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, but it does look interesting. We were talking. Tony and I were talking. I've seen all of the series so far. I thought last season was bad.
It was so
Yeah.
bad. I think that's why they're trying to recoup with this Gaga thing, because they're like, let's try and get some people back, because they probably lost a shitload after last season.
That might be true, but I also am concerned just because I think one of the worst things about last season was the musical numbers.
Yeah.
And the fact that they're bringing Gaga into it just makes, because we can't forget, these are creators of Glee.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what they're trying to stir the pot with this crap. You might be counting me out. So I might have to tap out this season.
Really? I'll give it the watch. I'll give it a good go just to see if maybe they recoup.
It seems like most the first season and the second season were both like really cool until the end where they have to wrap it up.
Mm-hmm.
And especially the first season was like really neat until like the last 3 episodes where it was like, saying ghosts can touch people sometimes only when it like fits the situation of your story. Like
that whole was it the last episode was like the birthing?
Yeah, it was Rosemary's Baby.
Crazy.
And I don't know. I didn't see Freak Show that much just because for that reason I got kind of tired.
I mean, I'm surprised I even stuck with Freak Show till the end. Like, it was so bad. It was so bad. And Like, a lot of them, it's just there's something that's going for it, so you'll keep watching. Like Coven started out really cool, and I was like, okay, they could do something good with this. And then everybody just starts dying and coming back to life.
Right.
And then shit just goes off the rails, and then the show just completely lost it towards the end.
Yeah.
Again, with the wrap-up, they just have a hard time figuring out where to take it and then executing that.
I don't recall exactly how they wrapped up Asylum, but that, like, to me, is by far and away the best complete season of that.
Yeah, I think
really
Asylum
enjoyed it.
overall was probably the best.
Yeah.
But there's just something about Horror House that I really liked. So it's just,
Right.
I'd still put Horror House as being my favorite just because there's something about it. It had a quality to it, something you hadn't seen before.
Yeah.
And it's still, it's my favorite. Yeah, they kind of dropped the ball in the final few episodes, but I just really liked that season.
And I liked the whole. It was all like, since it was like the Hollywood house, they could play all those Hollywood murders.
Yeah.
Hollywood's a pretty bloody town.
Gruesome.
People like to die out here.
People like to die.
Get themselves in all sorts of troubles.
We had I don't know how many riots. 3 riots. We've had 3.
I think you better get ready for another one.
Yeah.
To be perfectly honest.
Yeah.
But I don't know, half-hearted going into this season.
And I'll
this
watch
fall.
it. The other 2 trailers are like really tiny little teaser trailers, but those I think for me were better because you saw the actual hotel.
Right.
You sort of got a feel of what it's going to be like inside there.
Mhm.
Whereas the first 2 trailers you really didn't see anything.
Right.
Besides, hey, here's some Gaga. So
I'd like them to do. It'd be cool if they did. Since we were talking about like the Victor Frankenstein earlier, what if they did an American Horror Story, fucking werewolves and like Dracula and shit? What if they just did that?
Like they could. I don't know how hard it would be for like rights and stuff.
Yeah. Well, I mean, werewolves and Dracula. Vampires are public domain. You don't have to make it Dracula.
Well, and this
If
is
it's
FX,
vampires.
right?
Yeah.
That it's on, and you've got Fox making that
Yeah.
Frankenstein movie. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know, man.
We'll
Do
see.
you have to worry about the rights or yeah.
Fuck the
Well-
rights. Well, moving along to the last trailer that we checked out for all you HBO owners. I'm personally having trouble with HBO Go right now. It's really not letting me do shit.
I just watched True Detective, the last the end of the season.
On
and I didn't
HBO
have a
Go?
problem, Yeah.
I'm getting some. That's neither here nor there. Looking forward. They've had a great streak with some series recently. Westworld coming out. I believe it's Christopher Nolan's brother is involved in it, right?
Brian Nolan or
Yeah.
I can't remember.
He's the one without the English accent.
Yeah.
And I mean, to be perfectly honest, I've not seen the original Westworld in its entirety. It's more of the
Jonathan Nolan. Sorry.
No, that's okay. I don't. It's something that's just the story fascinated me, but whenever I actually see the footage, like everybody's like, "Oh yeah, Yul Brynner," like you have to appreciate that, and I do, but I just haven't seen it.
Yeah.
But this updated version, we watched the trailer for.
Little tease.
Yeah.
And that looks really rad.
Yeah, really
it looks
cool.
so
Looks
Like,
really rad.
Something about it, just like I said, right after we watched it, it was Blade Runner. Again, it just like it felt kind of like Blade Runner to me. And the original trailer was just straight Western. Also, they're robots.
I think it looks really cool. I like how they really like some. I mean, it's really short, so like the shots that you do see are only for like a couple seconds. But like some of those really cool panoramic shots of like when they're on like. A mesa, and there's like the whole Westworld sprawling out before them. And,
right.
It looks like an actual Western movie.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it looks really cool. I know, I think Jonathan Nolan has a lot of people helping him with that movie, or with Westworld.
I would certainly hope so. Can't do it by yourself now, can you?
No, he's a one-man show.
He's the gaffer.
But it looks really bomb. It looks thebomb.com. Ed Harris is in it.
I was interesting.
Actually, Ed Harris is the man in black. He is the Yul Brynner.
The gunman.
Yeah.
And Hopkins.
Yeah, good to see him.
Marsden?
Always love.
Huh.
Who? James Marsden. He's a looker, huh?
He is.
He's also one of the few people like that while living in LA I've just come across and biggest fucking douchebag you could possibly imagine.
You've met him?
No. I was sitting in a bar. That's a little off topic, but I was in one of these bars that was like out in Hollywood as one of the pubs out there. I forget which one it's called. It's a really cool pub. But he's sitting there with like his whole entourage, and he's pitching this idea to his friends. He's like, "This is my idea. It's gonna make me so much money, you guys." basically you just have a stripper's pole, and then random chicks can get up there and strip to whatever music they want. And he just throws his hands back, like, oh, I just blew your fucking mind. Yeah. And then one of his friends like, oh yeah, man, that's so right. You know, typical yes man. And then one of the women's like trying to disagree but not disagree because he's James Marsden. I don't know, maybe she's trying to get something from him.
A drink.
She's like, I can see how I have some friends that might do that, but most women might think that's offensive.
Basically, if he wasn't James Marsden, she'd be like, you're a fucking pig.
You are. Yeah, exactly.
That's he doesn't seem like that at all.
No, he's a horrible. I mean, just from that was the only encounter I had.
But, I mean, I'm sure
he didn't seem like a cool guy.
I've only seen things that he's acted. I've never actually seen the man behind.
Yeah, he was Cyclops, and he seemed douchey.
Goggles.
But Cyclops is supposed to be a douche, right? You're not supposed to like Cyclops.
You're not. I always assumed that him and Bryan Singer were pals.
Pally buds?
Best buds?
You know? Oh, yeah. Real good pals. I guess I was wrong.
I sound wrong.
From Kenner's Star Wars collection comes the Stormtrooper, the Sand People, and all 20 action figures, including new Hammerhead, Snaggletooth, and more, each sold separately. And now, Boba Fett, Star Wars villain with his laser rifle. Boba Fett is not yet available in stores, but you can get him free with 4 proofs of purchase from any Star Wars action figures. Details on specially marked packs at participating stores. Offer ends May 31st. Star Wars action figures sold separately from Kenner.
Okay, the objective is to infiltrate the homes of America.
We infiltrate Junior in his basement room while he's smoking a cigarette. How are we going to do it? We're going to get in through the television set.
When no one's looking.
The least watch time ever.
A busy work night when everybody's sleeping.
Mondays at midnight.
Better yet, we're going to do it on HBO. Ha ha! Mr. Show, Mondays at midnight.
Why would you put a show on Monday at midnight? Exactly.
Moving along, we've got our last segment at the end, which everybody loves. But before we go into that, just some little nostalgic news. 2 things that are coming back. We learned that Mr. Show is getting picked up by Netflix.
Yes.
I don't know if it's going to be an actual series or a special. What do you think?
I don't know. Are they also going to be showing old episodes of Mr. Show on Netflix?
I don't believe so, because that's HBO, right?
Yeah, HBO owns that. But you know, that'll be cool. I mean, Mr. Show was, still is one of the funniest sketch comedy shows that was ever out there. If any of you guys get a chance, I have some DVDs of it, and I think that's really the only way you can watch it now is if you get a DVD of it.
Right, they were so cheap though. I remember for a while they were like practically giving away those.
Yeah, no, they
series,
and the quality of the DVDs are kind of like what you would find in like the dollar bin at a 7-Eleven. You know, it's like cheap packaging, and the menus are all like was done on MS Paint or something. But
right,
it's so funny, and it's got so many people that you recognize now. It's got so many people that I can't remember.
Like Tenacious D made their
Jack Black, David Cross. Bob Odenkirk.
They're the main
Scott Aukerman.
Ryan Posehn. Tom Kenny. Tom Kenny was on that show. Sarah Silverman.
Yeah.
A lot of people.
I think
what's that guy's name? Jeremy Piven?
Was he on that? I don't think so.
Because I think he's in this. No, I think that's someone else. I'm just looking at an article here about Bob Odenkirk and David Cross sketch comedy gets Netflix series order, and they got like a little picture. It looks like Jack Black and Odenkirk, and then someone I thought was Jeremy Piven, but is very obviously not. So.
So those are the people that are helping the new one.
Yeah.
Yeah, Scott Aukerman is really funny. Has any of you guys ever watched Comedy Bang Bang?
Yeah,
I've seen a few episodes. It's really funny.
It's sort of like in that same vein, though. Mr. Show is pretty crazy. And for as funny and as innovative as it was, I think, especially when I was younger, there's some that just lost me. Like, I was like, I don't get this. You guys are weird. But as you get older, you look at it and it's just like, man, you guys are just geniuses. And you just pretty much do whatever you want. You know, Odenkirk and David Cross really had something going on.
Yeah, they were really... really funny.
My guy Maynard James Keenan, the singer from Tool, I forgot, was in a couple episodes.
Was he?
Yeah. That's something that'd be cool. And Netflix once again, I'm talking about it.
Yeah.
There it is, doing something cool.
That is kicking ass. I mean, I don't know how many times they've done this exactly, but I know they took up Arrested Development and they made a new season. I think they're making another season. They did the thing where they had this series of Wet Hot American Summer.
Yeah.
Just turning that into a series.
There's
and
also
now they're
several
doing Mr.
other.
Show.
There's The Killing. There's Sense8. There's a couple shows that are specifically Netflix properties that not a lot of people, because they haven't been very popular.
Is that like the original content by Netflix?
Original content.
So I was saying like that Netflix is doing this thing now where they're taking these other shows, like older shows, and revamping them, or older properties like Wet Hot American Summer, and still making it fucking good.
Yeah.
You know, they haven't really tripped up yet with any decisions they've made. Arrested Development was great. Wet Hot American Summer was great. Hopefully Mr. Show kicks ass too. I'm just saying, like, along that vein, I'm not sure how many times they've done it, but they've done it well.
Trailer Park Boys.
Trailer Park Boys.
2 seasons,
there you go.
2 great seasons of Trailer Park Boys.
Netflix just knows what they're doing, man. They're just... I mean, they got a few shows that I guess haven't done super well, but overall, they haven't really had a huge bust on anything.
Batting over 500, I'd say.
Yeah.
They must have good relations at Netflix with all of these creative types in order for especially I would think Bob Odenkirk and Dave Cross that really are only going to do what they want to do. It doesn't seem like they don't have anything to really worry about.
Well, it seems like Netflix definitely gives whatever they're producing a great amount of autonomy, because I know for Trailer Park Boys, it was owned by this Canadian channel called Showcase, and those were the people producing it, and those were most of the seasons that were made through Showcase, but they hated it. They the producers were really lame, and a couple of people even left the show and like had nervous breakdowns because of like how shitty the producers were. But like, now with these other 2 seasons, and there's going to be one more season that Netflix puts out, they've just been like, yeah, you guys do your thing. You guys know what makes the show funny. So like all the people who are like writing it are like also directing it and producing it. And it's great.
It seems like there's a lot more of that type of stuff going on now. So maybe as the years progress, we see more people trying to do things like Netflix. We're like, well, let's just let them do what the fuck they do.
Right.
Not stick our stupid producer hands in it and we don't know what the fuck we're talking about.
Yeah.
And then it's just going to be really good. Because Netflix just keeps doing that. If that's what you're saying, what's going on over there, they just give the creatives the right to be creative, and they don't really fuck with it because it just keeps working out for them. Like,
and they have like it's like they don't really take a big like. I mean, if a show that they produce doesn't do that well, then it's not like they lost a bunch of ratings.
Netflix.
It's Netflix. They still, I feel like they have a lot less to use by putting out a shitty show, because, I mean, it's not like prime time back in the day where like, all right, you have to watch this, catch this show when it's on now, and if you couldn't give us, you don't want to watch that show, then fuck it. But if a shitty show that Netflix has put out is on Netflix for like a few years, people are gonna just out of curiosity watch it.
So I mean, you're just not dealing with any sort of commercial aspect.
Yeah.
There's nobody trying to pay for advertisements and be like, well, I don't know, the people who buy my product might not necessarily agree with little kids pooping in their shorts. We're gonna talk about Christian values and poop etiquette. It's great though. It's great to see that, and hope it continues. And hopefully, Mr. Show not only can bring back some stuff that's really cool, but maybe give some other people a start. I know that Bob Odenkirk seems to just have his finger on the pulse of a lot of these young comedians coming up. And very involved in that. And that's great. He serves as a mentor, and I don't know, something else to get excited about.
And I'm also very glad that Breaking Bad gave him his big break, because I thought he was funny and awesome for years.
And he's always been one of those people that you just see in random stuff because he knows people and he's really good, but he's never gotten as much attention as he should have gotten.
Right.
Everybody else around him shot up. And he just sort of stayed.
Well, I don't think there's any doubt that he's extremely well respected.
Everybody knows the Kirk.
It seems like he's one of those comedians. Everybody that's in the know and in that industry respects the fuck out of him, but for whatever reason, it's just like he's not with the household name.
Right. Well, he is.
Better Call Saul.
The next thing we're feeling nostalgic about, they're bringing back Iron Giant.
Yay!
Interesting. I guess it came out in 1999 and got pretty much buried and ignored by such films as Phantom Menace.
Man.
It was out the same summer. Something else crappy, but if you've ever had the opportunity,
that was Bird, right?
It's Brad Bird. just a really amazing.
It's a
tearjerker.
Oh my god.
It'll get you. But
you choose.
They're bringing it to they're bringing it to theaters for apparently only a couple days, but that's just pretty much a big promo because the Blu-ray is going to be coming out.
Yeah.
And if it ain't like $50 or something, some of those get weird.
I don't know. I'm going to be seeing it in the theaters, and I'm going to be buying that Blu-ray. So I'm going to love that movie.
My mom used to do this thing whenever I was watching. She still does it actually. When I'm watching something, she'll like like I'm feeling something. I'm like in the emotion of whatever's going on, and then she just undercuts it with like when I was a little kid watching Iron Giant with my mom, and the last scene where he takes the bomb and he goes up and he sacrifices himself, and there's the big display, the giant explosion, and it's all sad. And my mom's like, what they don't tell you is they all died of radiation poisoning like 50 years later.
That's great, Shelley. See, my dad would love to do that about things that he didn't give a shit about, but when it was something that he saw in theaters with us, where he's like, all right, I'll check it out. Like, he's along for the ride, and he won't make fun of it till later. But I think one of the best things to do now is stuff that you loved as a kid. Watch now, and then you still love it, but just, poking fun at it, and, just commenting on it with, like, your family. I think that's,
it's fun.
That's fun, just to fuck with it. But that's hilarious that she just undercuts it. But I think I do that too sometimes when I'm like, when someone's watching something that I don't care about at all. I'm just like, oh, what? So is that the bad guy?
Yes.
What's he doing?
The episode of Avatar: The Last Airbender where it's like the stories from Ba Sing Se, and then Uncle Iroh does this thing where he like pays his respects to his dead son.
That was so sad.
And I actually cried as an adult man. And my mom, my mom like came in the room when I was watching that, and she started laughing at the dude's voice and the way he was singing the song. I was like,
no mercy, Shelley Baglar. That's funny.
Speaking of stuff that you watched when you were in your house, what are you watching? By the Bulb's here to tell you what we've been watching. I will kick it off. I've watched a couple things,
What'd you watch?
I finally joined you guys and completed a viewing of the Babadook. And we were sort of chatting about it earlier. I thought it was pretty cool. It's if you break it down, there's a hint. Spoilers, obviously. And this should be at this point like, if we're talking about it, we're spoiling it. Because what the hell? Why not?
Just at the end of the show, just assume once Jeremy does the what you watching, it's spoiler country from there on. Right. So,
well, you said that Tony. You said that you didn't really like it.
I did not enjoy it. The spell did not work on me for that one.
Things that you were the Babadook voice you laughed at.
The Babadook voice was actually at first I was kind of into it. I was like, okay. Yeah. And then when it came back, and when it's just like you see what you see, and there's the the obvious jump scares and reveals and
right,
and it's just it didn't do it for me. It just came off as cheesy. I didn't get. I wanted that feeling, when you watch a horror movie, you're just like, all right, I'm into it. When you just get pulled in, and I just at no point did I get pulled in with the Babadook. That little kid, he didn't do a bad job acting.
No,
I would not say that at all. But there's definitely some times where he sang certain lines and things in the movie. And I'm just like, shut the fuck up, kid.
Well,
Jesus Christ.
And I have to give credit for that almost just because, to me, that kid is almost like the Shelley Duvall effect in The Shining, where
that's pretty good.
The movie makes you hate this kid.
Yeah.
And you don't really know the whole story, and you sort of end up kind of feeling for him with this whole monster in the house thing. And the Babadook, whatever, that's cool. But as you find that this woman is just losing her mind with this grief, there is a clip that they show real quick where she's like watching TV, and goes into this trance where eventually the Babadook like gets into her body or something. But they have this like newsreel, and they're like, oh well, this birthday party happened, and all the kids are dead, and the mom's dead, and they show like a close up of like a figure in a window, like a face looking out, and they zoom up like on her real quick, and she's got this creepy smile. Yeah, man. I just thought that was so cool.
Yeah, see, so you were into it by that point. By that point, I was just like, oh god, when are we gonna get to the part?
When are we gonna?
Yeah, let's get to it already.
When is everybody gonna get Babadooked?
Yeah, I've heard people interpret that movie as a metaphor for mental illness.
Yeah, in a way, because I wouldn't even say in a way. I'd say definitely because at the end of it, this Babadook ends up going down in the basement. She locks it down there, and it's just basically her grief for her dead husband. Yeah. And now she's supposedly able to.
She still feeds it worms.
Still feeds it worms, right? But she just buries it, like recognizes that it's there, but sort of, I don't know. Maybe that's just you gotta think about it.
That it's there, deal with it, but you can keep it.
Difference between coming to terms with it and just having it recede into your subconscious where it can manifest later on and you kill everybody.
Yeah. Right. I really liked it. I thought the actress was phenomenal. I mean, she goes from like just getting walked all over from her child to getting this like really deep like
I gotta say that like her character, story arc and like the way that she develops throughout that movie of like with everything that's going on in that thing is definitely my favorite part of it. Yeah, because she just does such a great job of transforming in the movie in a way that's believable. A lot of the stuff in that movie didn't work for me, but she definitely did a kick-ass job.
Yeah, and I can agree. Not everything's perfect in it. It's in some certain ways, it's just incredibly Aussie. Like they try to. Those guys are crazy fucks, and they're willing to try anything. And I really, in a way, have to admire that. And sometimes it works, and sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah.
But overall, I liked it. That's what I watched this episode, guys. That's what I watched.
He's watching.
Yeah.
He's watching.
All right, Tony.
I can't. I've got to say one thing that I'll only really be able to talk about is that I've seen is Straight Outta Compton.
Yeah.
I just watched Straight Outta Compton. I really dug it.
I really want to see it. How much did it made 62?
It definitely doubled its cash. I think it was made for like 30 something, and then it's at 60 something now.
Yeah. Really?
Yeah. So it's doing well. But I don't want to say much about it because obviously I can't talk about it with either of you guys because no one else has seen it yet. But I just want to say that I enjoyed the shit out of it. I want to kind of cross-reference a lot of stuff that happened and look and see what I can dig up as far as like validity of what they claim in the movie. And the only criticism I do really have of it is the edit seems to sort of wrap up a little abruptly in the end. It's just like you have all this time where you're with them and then everything's going and then it turns out they get to this point where NWA is huge and then Ice Cube splits off and all that. And if you know anything about
and then Eazy has AIDS and he's
Eazy has AIDS. And you know all that, so it's not really spoilers. Like that's pretty common knowledge if you give it any kind of shit. Yeah. But I liked it, and I think one thing that it weirdly reminded me of, did either of you guys ever watch The Temptations?
Yes.
No, I did not.
Okay, so it was like this VH1 biopic about The Temptations.
It was like it was a made for TV.
Yeah, made for TV movie. But I fucking loved that movie.
Yeah,
and it was really good. It was super long too. It was like fucking 4 hours or something.
Yeah, and I totally remember when it aired. Actually,
yeah, I watched it more than a few times. Like I could probably still do all the dance moves to My Girlfriend. And it's something about like that feeling where you're in this, and obviously it's got sort of a novel feeling to it where they glamorize certain things to be like, yeah, this is how great it was, and it was just this great, and these guys were so great. Yeah. And, in reality, obviously, fucking, what's his name? Dr. Dre had some things that people are bringing up because, of course, once something like this comes out, everyone's going to drag up all the things that they did wrong. Of course, stuff like that's going to come up, and of course it happens, but they're not going to put it in the movie. Yeah. Obviously, that's not what they're trying to say here. They're not trying to excuse that at all.
Yeah, Dr. Dre, he's the dude. He's wallets behind the movie. So, like, he's not going to.
Yeah, he's not going to put that in there. So I don't know. It was also written by some people that I've never really heard of. White people, and it was produced by Ice Cube, and by Dre. They were behind it, so they oversaw things. So I'm assuming that if there was some sort of fact checking or something like that they would say, put that in there. Don't put that in there. Yeah. That's how it happened. But when it comes down to it, they're going to want to have the best version of themselves that they can, definitely. Right?
Like that movie, it's like Dogtown.
Yeah, exactly. It's not going to be an honest, gritty movie. Yeah. But enough.
I haven't seen it, but that's what I guess I was sort of hoping for. I was hoping that they weren't just gonna sugarcoat all the shit.
Okay, so I did say that, and that is definitely a part of it, but it's not like super glamorous. They cover things that were real and that happened, that were about the struggle of the times and stuff like that. I think it could have been a little more honest.
Okay.
But it was just a really good movie for me. It was a great watch. I want to see it again.
Did they actually film at Taft?
Not that I saw.
Because I know that's where...
But I actually don't know what Taft looks like, so... I've never been there.
Yeah, I've never been inside.
Yeah. But I mean, that's what I've been watching. Other than that, I've been rewatching That 70s Show for whatever reason.
You get out of here right now.
Just like the only thing about that, it's always
It's
funny.
a good potato chip
And yeah,
show,
yeah,
you know?
yeah, a good potato. Exactly. It's just good to turn your brain off. And one thing I just always wonder about it is the laugh track.
Yeah.
You know, and I want to
So
just like I
violent.
want to know the history of the laugh track and where it went wrong and where
Yeah.
it goes right. But that's pretty much what I've been watching. That 70s Show and Straight Outta Compton. Straight Outta Compton, definitely watch it.
That
70s show.
If you haven't already seen it, you're probably not going to
Yeah,
watch
so whatever. But yeah, to you, Jared, what do you got?
I just watched a movie, a horror movie in the 80s. My laptop just died, so I can't look it up. But it's called Tales from the Dark Side, the movie. And I think Tales from the Dark Side was comic books, right? Was it a horror comic or like it was a horror anthology of some kind?
As I understand it, I thought that it was a show for a while,
Yeah.
but the movie is they talk about it like it's
Like
Creep
it's
Show 3 or something.
Yeah, no, okay, so that's what I was going to say. The movie is, the Tales from the Dark Side is basically, they saw Creep Show and they saw that it worked and they're like, let's make a Creep Show of our own. And it's definitely nowhere near as good as Creep Show. If any of you have ever seen Creep Show, that's an amazing anthology movie. But it is... the stories are really bad, and it's got some big name actors though. It's got Christian Slater, It's got Steve Buscemi, he's in fucking everything.
Yeah.
It's got Steve Buscemi. God, I can't remember the guy who played Ajax in The Warriors.
That's all you need to know. He was almost what's his name in Aliens,
Yeah,
right? He got
was
kicked
almost
off.
Bill Paxton's part, right?
Pullman Paxton, always good.
Game over, man.
Was it? No, I thought he was
Don't you
almost
put
the
her in
main
charge.
guy, Hicks.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and he didn't get along. All right. Anyway, sorry.
No, it's cool. But it's really, I mean, most of it is really bad, except for some of the death scenes,
Yeah.
which are just awesome. And if you watch this movie for anything, just watch it for if you ever wanted to see a cat force itself down Dexter Poindexter's throat, the lead singer of the New York Dolls, you watch that. It's great.
Is that the feeling hot, hot, hot?
Yeah, he's in Scrooge. Where I'm the ghost.
Niagara
Falls, Frankie Angel.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah.
But yeah, it's it's just one of those cheesy '80s horror movies that they just, no matter how bad they are, I love them. They're so great. They just got that the sleek, dazzling veneer of the 1980s.
It's like a light aftertaste of like desperation.
Yeah, there's like you smell really cheap aftershave. People are drinking out of those cups with the crazy kooky pattern that you got in food courts.
Little pixie cups.
Yeah.
And, ultra like early '90s.
Max
logo
Later
on it.
is playing on the TV
Oh,
somewhere.
jeez.
Just tastes like flavored water looking at that cup.
Yeah, it just tastes like flavored water.
But I've seen that too though, and I think that the practical effects in there, if anything else,
Yeah.
are something cool.
They're
Like the
really
whole
cool.
the last story is about a gargoyle.
Yeah, a gargoyle that it was cross your heart.
Oh man, and
It's-
yeah, just the line we were talking about earlier with the little kid,
Oh,
like,
the little kid.
"Mommy, you mean the time that you thought Daddy was gonna pin your arm behind you and rape you in an alley?"
They're just like, yeah, that was a kid said. Who okayed that? Who was like, that's something a kid would say, and that's something
yeah.
a mother would tell their child about how they met.
Well, that's how things are run in a gargoyle household.
That's how and then when she's like, you broke your promise, and then the kids come out and they're little gargoyles, and it's like, yeah.
Yeah, it was great.
It's so
a good
good.
way to wrap that one up, Like
Yeah.
I had fun with that. Would you recommend it?
Yeah, no, I would recommend, if not just to see the special effects and some of the death scenes, because it's an anthology, so even though all the stories aren't that great, they're all, like 20 minutes, 10, 15 minutes long, because it's a 90-minute movie with 3 stories in it, so you really don't have to put that much attention into it. So
Yeah.
just watch it.
No, it's
Yeah,
true.
yeah.
It's like a middle of the weekend during the day.
Yeah.
Just put it on
Put
and
it on.
It's in like an endurance test. Yeah. It's a good one.
It's the last one. I watched the whole thing.
All right. Well, I guess wrapping up here. Okay. So I got Babadook on Netflix. Obviously, Straight Outta Compton in theaters. Tales from Dark Side is on Netflix. Also,
Dark Side on Netflix.
Nice. Before we wrap up, I guess somebody mentioned Lords of Dogtown earlier. Emil Hirsch is in jail.
Is he?
They put him in like 15 days or something for like putting a female movie executive in a chokehold at a film festival after party.
Wow.
So happy trails to him, and happy birthday for Angus Scrimm, who's the tall man in the Phantasm movies, ripe old age of 89.
Fuck that.
Wrapping stuff up too. Obviously, we have the Facebook, Facebook/bythebulb.com.
If you haven't liked it yet, please like us. Tell your friends to like us. We just want to be liked.
Just like you.
Yeah. Spies like us. No, we're good guys here. Yeah. We're at mom and pop operation.
We don't mean any harm.
More pop and pop.
But yeah, you can email us at bythebulb@gmail.com.
Please do if you have anything to say or correct or rant about.
You can just be like, "What?
We'll call you
what
out."
Blouse am I wearing today?
You know, and actually, I do have to mention on Facebook. I just put a question out there because we had talked about Bryan Cranston and Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Dee back in Chicago getting a free T-shirt. I told her that she would. Whenever we get some T-shirts in, which I'm thinking probably aim for like, I don't know, October, Halloween at some point. Might not be a bad idea to get that out there.
We'll figure that out. We won't talk about numbers on the air. That's, you guys, you go bet. You don't worry about it.
Right. Anything else you guys want to plug or anything like that?
That's good, man. Well, if we're all good,
we're good to go, buddy.
This is By the Bulb saying lights out. See ya, America.
Let me tell you what I think we're dealing with here. A potentially positive learning experience that can... Shut up! Shut up, you American. You always talk, you Americans. You talk and you talk and you say, let me tell you something, and I just want to say this. Well, you're dead now, so shut up.